I'm reviewing all the aspects of the security. It might be necessary, instead of all this civilian, this method of this, or JTVFT, civilian, that, and I have to create state police. We are looking at that holistically. We will defeat security. It will be effective. We must protect our children, our people, and our livelihood, and places of worship and places of recreation. They can't intimidate us. On one hand, the forest guard is being empowered, and we empower them effectively. We put that, we defeat the fear of politicization by political differences that has prevented establishment of the state community policing in the past. And there should be other ways to really counter all of that. I can assure you there's no thinking that we will be left out.
Now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says he's committed to this idea of state police. Now, what do you think? Is it just enough to keep talking about it? When would, all these promises yield outcomes? And how, in your view? Either in terms of constitutional amendment or in terms of the structure, the framework, and all of that.
Well, thank you once more again for having me. I think the place for me to start is to emphasize that the issue about whether to have a central police organization or to allow states to run their own police services had always been with us. It was a very, very serious issue during the debate that was precursor to the 1999 Constitution. It was not an easy debate that eventually culminated in an agreement to adopt the version that is contained in section 214 of the 1999 Constitution, which created for central police. But ever since then, the debate had never ended.
Start to the people, so it would be a good idea. We see other parts of the world where even the local government is the one responsible for policing their communities in some parts of the world because they are seen to be closer to the people. But there's still concerns around structures for checks and balances. What should these structures look like at every point, at every level? So that when we talk about constitutional amendment, it's part of the process. Whether it be from the State House of Assembly, we look at the judiciary itself, we look at internal checks and balances in the police. What would make this stronger so that we don't have a repeat of what we face at the federal level, at the state level, if we do go for state police?
The problem we have in Nigeria is that of politics. The kind of politics that we experience in Nigeria, the winner takes all kind of politics, the highly charged political atmosphere that we live under, makes it very, very difficult to find a solution to what is otherwise a very simple matter. At the base of all the problem about whether to have a state police or whether to have a central police system or a state police system is because of the urge, the inordinate urge in the politician to exercise absolute power. So when you leave the police in the hands of the states. The governors are always suspected to abuse the powers for their own benefit.
You want to remain in charge. But how do you place this against one, the idea of the devolution of powers, of having a proper federal system? How do you place this against the argument by some persons that, look, in other jurisdictions, they have a National Guard, they have state marshals, they have a decentralized police system? How do you place this against the argument by some of the state governors or state governors who say they are called chief security officers in their states, but they are powerless when it comes to security? After all, we saw the other day in Lagos State where an ordinary sergeant told a sitting governor that he doesn't take instructions from a governor. He takes only instructions from the center.
But Dr. Abati, I try as much as possible to distance myself from political issues in Nigeria. But let me say this as forcefully as I can. There is nothing wrong with the present system we have, whereby a commissioner of police in a state takes direction from the state governor, except where a particular directive is considered to be overreaching, in which case the commissioner of police clears the matter with the hierarchy of the police force, the Inspector General of Police and Mr. President, who are in opposition to the ruling government, may have difficulty running a campaign, a political campaign in that state. They are not even allowed to put on placards. If they put, they are removed. Now, if you get the governor and give him a police force under his control, heaven forgive us, because he will do whatever he likes in that state, and you will never have the voice of opposition in that state.
All right. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, you want to say
in other words, you are saying, sir, that you don't believe that the persons we elect as governors have the maturity or the common sense to be able to ensure security on behalf of the people over whom they govern. That's what you are saying.
You've said it more loudly than I can, because the examples are suffuse. We have the examples of proof of what you have just said. What is happening in Rivers State, for instance?
Okay.
How come that an ex-governor is exercising so much power? Absolute power will always corrupt absolutely. If you allow the governor, the kind of Wike, to have that kind of control over a police force in his state, heaven forgive us. They are done. Look at the last elections we've just had. People just hang around and then give money to people to vote.
But is it not the federal...
And you're going to be electing? If I had my way, elections will stop in this country.
But is it not the federal police that oversees those flawed elections you are complaining about? So why are you thinking it's better managed when it's from the federal than on the state? Is it not the same federal police that oversees those flawed and shambolic elections you are complaining about? Is it not the same federal police that is being used to attack opposition figures in the states? So what's the difference?
Rufai, I have been an attorney general in a state, and I know the influence I wielded over my governor in ensuring that the rule of law prevailed over executive lawlessness. I'm telling you that when you have the kind of government that I worked under as Attorney General, there may be no problem, because I had a governor who was sane and clean and never interfered with the decisions of the Attorney General. But probably that was because I never lobbied to be made an Attorney General. I was made an Attorney General against my will.
Which governor was
that? But if you have Attorney General that lobbied to become an Attorney General, then he is going to be a bootlicker And the governor is going to use him for any purpose whatsoever.
Which governor
or he will dismiss him. I worked under Ngige.